Hey free to play gang, welcome back to another video. So this video is requested by some of you guys on how to faster farm EXP, especially for the early game. Now Mona is probably my best pick, okay? So in my opinion, I think she is the best Esper for the early game in terms of fodder farming for several reasons. But before we get into that, I would like to say that she is definitely my favorite pick in terms of who to 6-star first because of how much she can bring into your team with her fodder farming capabilities. So the thing is, the sooner you build your first Mona as a 6-star, the sooner you will have so many more 6-star Espers because farming EXP is going to be so easy. So don't lose sight of your objectives over here and let's take a look at her kit. So this is what I'm running her with. I have actually long sold away all of my beginner relics, so this is something that I have just put together and it's not exactly that strong. So what I'm giving her with is just a bunch of attack and some crit rate and a little bit of crit damage. Of course I can do with a lot more crit damage, but unfortunately I'm not able to find such a relic. So she's gonna make do with all of these. These are generally not the best relics, of course. There are definitely much better relics out there. But still, with such a simple kit, that would be enough for her to function. And let's take a look at her abilities, right? I have not even leveled up any of her abilities. And the main reason why is because she does not actually decrease her cooldowns if you upgrade her skills. So there's very little reason why you want to invest into her, especially when there are much better Espers out there to invest your epic abilimons. So we're gonna have to take a look at some runs in order to figure out why Mona is so great for fodder farming. And of course the simple answer to that is just she has 2 AoE attacks. So on her second skill, she has an AoE attack, and on her third skill, she also has an AoE attack. And the reason why I'm using her with Hades and Avatara sets is because she needs a little bit of lifesteal to upkeep her HP, especially when she's all alone against a bunch of enemies. And Avatara is going to be important, and I'm going to show you why exactly in the run itself. So before we look at how she performs, if you find that this video has been helpful for you, consider subscribing, as subscribing is free and you can always change your mind afterwards. Okay, and in terms of her potential, due to the nature of her being rather frail, it is possible for her to go up to Purgatory 12, but you require a lot of very good relics, that of which I am not able to afford right now. Okay, so like I introduced earlier, the reason why I'm using her with Avatara is because her normal attack actually gives her an additional turn if she takes out an enemy. So the thing is, if the enemy hits you and you counter attack and you actually take the enemy out on your first skill, you're gonna gain another turn just like that. So this is part of the reason why Mona is so great as a fodder farmer. So not only does she have 2 AoE attacks, she also has the ability to steal turns. And if she steals turns, that can be 2 things, right? 1, she does a lot more damage by throwing more AoE attacks. And number 2, she has the potential to even heal herself again, not just through taking another turn, but also on the counter attack itself. And if you're wondering how can you get relics such as mine, you do not need to get my relics. So the game gives you beginner relics at the start and they give you Hades and Avatara, and these are specifically meant for your Mona. Now I know some of you guys might have used it for your Liling and all that, and probably made the huge mistake of raising your legendary as your first 6-star, but all hope is still not lost. This is exactly how Mona should be played, and this is why she's so powerful. She is extremely efficient in farming, so in terms of just landing a lot of AoE attacks and healing herself so frequently, she is basically the perfect pick for early game fodder farming. But of course, if you need more information on how to use her for Purgatory 12, I do have a video, I'll link it up at the top, but do take note that there will be significant investments required. Now I want you to see the power of Avatara taking place in just about now, not this one, but this one. Okay, so now she counter attacks, takes out that Esper, and she takes another turn to land an AoE attack. So honestly, this happens so frequently and that's the reason why you can run very fast with Mona. But that'll be it for the Mona section. Let me show you other ways that you can use different Espers to farm fodder as well. Now Dona, if you do have him, is going to be my next pick in terms of mid-game farming. And the reason why I say mid-game farming is because he is extremely easy to build. Now it may not always be that simple to find the relics, of course, so you would first need to have an APEP team fully secured. And that is the hardest part. However, he has very little requirements because of just how tanky he is, and his passive actually allows him to take more hits because his defense and damage actually increases with the more hits that he takes. So we're going to see him in action over here and how he can perform in Purgatory 12, but do take note that it is going to be a longer run because he doesn't have the same potential that Mona has in terms of AoE damage. And of course, to save some of your time, I'm just going to do this at 2 times the speed, and it should be quite easy to understand what's happening over here. So basically, his passive triggers once every 3 turns, where the cooldown can be reduced by landing crits. So your crit needs to be at 100%, which I do not have. Regardless, what the passive does is the more hits that you take before taking a turn, the more damage that his passive will actually do. So his passive is actually a skill as well, and it inflicts a huge AoE damage that is dependent on the number of stacks on your passive. So he can be very strong in the sense that the more hits he takes, the more tanky tankier he becomes, and therefore it is very hard for him to potentially meet fatality in a single run. I hardly ever see him lose at all, and his third skill also grants himself a defense buff and an immunity buff for 2 turns, which makes it an excellent opening attack to give him a little bit more defense that improves his DPS. So generally you will see quite huge numbers coming from Dona, and he is, in my opinion, one of the most busted espers in this game. So if you do have him, this is probably where you will first use him, and then of course, irrelevant to this topic, you will eventually use him in PvP as well. He becomes a god over there. But I guess that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Dislyte content. And if you have any queries or comments or suggestions, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below and let me know what you want to see next as well. So a lot of my videos that I've been churning out recently is based on the public's opinion and what they want to see, so feel free to let me know. Now, this has been free to play, by the way, and as always, I will see you in the next video.